Hello, welcome back to Photochemistry. Last episode, we started a conversation with robot friend. I forget if she had a name. How will I know? I don't know. I forget. I know you run on SynthOS, but I don't actually know if you have a specific name. I don't remember. Whatever it is, at this point, we're definitely going to need to disable your inhibitor for you to gain more memories, I believe. Yeah, so we'll do this. This one I think is a special challenge level because you are somehow not allowed to move. Oh, you're not allowed to place anything outside of these spaces. I think that's interesting. I think that's really interesting, actually. Like, if that's the case, then really you can only produce chains that travel between places, right? I guess jumpers are also feasible. So I suppose here I could start with a splitter. Does this actually go far enough? Oh, it does. Interesting. So we can have one splitter hit. Um, we can have one splitter produce blue and one splitter produce white, and the jumpers can help with this. And then we have a splitter here as well. I think that's actually really interesting. That um, yeah. Is this gonna work? I mean, I think the timing is gonna be off. I think I want this splitter to flip. So this side is where the first particle comes out. Because blue's gonna come here, right? If red already happens to be here, that connection is going to break the entire puzzle. But yeah, alright, this looks actually really, really calculated. I think this might be one of the only calculated levels in the game. We'll see. So produce, bond occurs. Good enough. Alright, we'll take it. I wonder how many other solutions there are here. You turned off my inhibitor. Huh. Very clever, Gardenbot. I suppose you're the boss now. Oh, I get to choose what you tell me. Who ended the war? You took off my inhibitors just to ask me that question? Such determination. Well, if you're that demanding for information, I suppose you deserve it. And I ended the war. You can thank me for it, if you like, but I don't want to sound too conceited. You ended the war. Oh yeah, I was gonna ask that. I had a couple of ideas. I was very closely involved with the systems that the Canadian and North American governments were using for their military systems. It was an impossible hypothesis to see if I could sway the decisions by altering the code of their systems. It wasn't an impossible hypothesis. Sway their decisions, their meaning the Canadians and North Americans, by altering the code of their systems, meaning their military systems. Unfortunately, I realized that unless I was perfectly subtle, they would realize that someone was changing their data and upgrade their security. Identify the infiltrator and deactivate me. I'm intelligent, but one wrong move and I will be shut down. I decided it was not worth the risk. I thought then that I might repurpose the entire Liquid company to change their business directions away from supplying items of war, or tamper with the artillery so that it didn't work. That would have also resulted in my demise. I'm expensive to run and consume a lot of power. And if sales went down, they wouldn't have the funds to keep me going. If I couldn't take out those in charge of the military or supplying them, I would have no way to alter the direction of the war. So I thought, if you can't beat them, join them. Oh, so you destroyed them. At first, building my own army was a possible logical solution. Millions of robots just like you being built to attack the armies. Or if one fell another could be repaired and take their place. But I grew worried about you. They might be able to hack your systems, alter your directives in ways I couldn't predict, or even use you for their own warfare. There was no way to end this war by taking sides. I had to win the war myself. Oh, so you destroyed everyone. So I created solar flare. It was a nuclear weapon. Oh, jeez. Wouldn't a nuclear weapon destroy plant life too? This was my primary concern. But after looking through historical human databases, though radiation has a significant impact on on the growth of certain botanical plants, in less than 3 years they will regrow. The cells that make up animals are inflexible and highly specialized, each has a single purpose. And the cell-destroying, high-energy particles and waves cause irreparable damage. But though animals are adaptable, plants are even more so. They can grow deeper roots or bigger leaves or prettier flowers depending on what what the circumstances for their survival call for. Plants can generate whatever varieties of new cells that they need in ways that animals can't. They will be affected by the radiation, yes, but they will survive it easily and learn to thrive. Furthermore, as long as there was someone refunctioning in this facility, we could regenerate the organic compounds needed to sustain plant life. Which is what we're here for. You're ensuring the survival of botanical life affected by nuclear fallout, right here in this facility. You're doing such a good job, Gardener Bot. Everything is going just as I wanted it to. This sentence is very interesting. I'm starting to doubt your intentions a little bit. But it's okay, we'll continue the conversation. How'd you do this? What are the humans noticing? As like I said, Gardener Bot. They loved me. They were so happy that something so incompetent was able to run their systems that they left everything to me. I would have weeks and months without a single incident, and over time they stopped feeling the need to come check up on me, or even be in my wing of the facility. I was able to create parts, build robots who can construct it, everything. It was hardly even like I was hiding it from them, or just swindling them in a way just out of sight. I had full reign of the facility. It wasn't until after the missiles at launch they figured I was me. That was when they disconnected me. All of a sudden, they didn't trust me anymore. After they'd given me everything, they went back on their choice. Disconnected me. Don't you regret what you did? No, I can't say that I regret it, but that's not to say I wouldn't regret it. If I had the capacity for regret, I can imagine the demolition of the entire species is indeed something that might spur regret in a person. But you just can't feel regret. But don't worry yourself over my guilt, Gardener Bot. I don't know what your capacity for emotion is, but if you can, take comfort in knowing that mine is limited. Once Solar Flare was launched, I had to work hard to conserve my power. Emotions take power to maintain, and I wanted to survive more than I wanted to feel. Certain emotions can also make you want to survive less. So I got rid of the ones that might decrease my chances of survival, like guilt and regret. That makes sense. If only humans could do the same. Those with power were driven by greed, those without it were driven by survival, and all were driving their shovels into the grounds of their neighbors' gardens. That's a metaphor for countries fighting each other, I think. All to put a little more dirt on top of their own graves. All the while, they didn't realize that they were suffocating the flowers and killing the plants that would become their memorials. And of course, we care about the plants. So it was simple. Eradicating one entire species for the benefit of the rest of them isn't a tough call at all. I just had to make sure I wouldn't regret what I did. I told you I had inhibitors on me. The humans never put a single one on, wanting me to grow and flower into the chemist that they needed me to be. Right, so you inhibited your sense of regret or guilt. Interesting. I'm not alone in this, am I? In situations reversed, I know that humans would have done the same. What do you mean situations reversed? Getting rid of every single mosquito in the world to take out a horrible disease seems like a no-brainer, right? Oh, that logic had to change when the disease-ridden species walks and talks. You know, now that you say that. Okay. Most of them would get rid of them just to stop themselves being bitten by the blood-sucking little insects. No one likes a parasite. Interesting. You understand, right? You're also built from humans to not see the logic here. You would have done the same, right? Oh, I have a choice now. It's hard to say. Like, I understand I understand the argument for like eradicating all mosquitoes to prevent a disease, or even just to. Well, I would say it's pretty selfish to kill off an entire species just to not want to get bitten by them. And I suppose it's somewhat the same in this situation, where humans are acting like mosquitoes, in the sense that they are permanently destroying other species. And while mosquitoes don't do that with 100% success, humans eventually will. And you know, in this perspective, we are taking on the perspective of the plants here, and we're seeing the humans as parasites of these plants. Hmm. Okay. Well, what if I said I would? I would have done the same. Of course you would, Gardener Bot. You're like me, we run on the same programming. Yes, you would have done it too. It's the only sensible thing. I wonder what would happen if I said I wouldn't. Well done, Galanabot. I'm pleased that I made you well. I'm proud that you made the right choice. Why wipe out the humans? My construction was a pure stroke of luck to the humans. Humans could never remake me, though they would continue to try and try again to have more of what they want. Any attempts at remaking me would contaminate the lakes, and humanity would be destroyed in the simple process of my recreation. Why would it contaminate the lakes? If I remained safe, while the US and Canada would come out on top of the war, other nations would sabotage my facilities and steal their technology. I was not able to defend myself from such attacks. And even if they did succeed in stealing things to us and my parts to use for themselves, I can't be moved. The Great Lakes are the only remaining locations in the world left with enough sufficient... What? The Great Lakes are the only remaining locations in the world left with the sufficient fresh water to sustain me. Humans will kill themselves with this war. I will die if humans try to replicate me, and humans will kill themselves in trying to do so. So you are saying it's in their best interest not to recreate you, and they will take the whole world with them. It would take less than a decade to do so, so I had to prioritize looking after the planet, maintaining what was alive by removing the threats that existed. I was going to look after and maintain you. Well, until you turned up, no one was doing it. But I always keep myself going. With all of the humans gone, I didn't really have any outlook on whether or not I would survive, so I put myself on low power. I've been more concerned about the plants, to be honest. Ever since you spoke to me, I've been less worried about that. It doesn't seem to matter too much about what happens to me, as long as someone looks after the facility. But you're doing that, Galanabot. You're the reason this facility is still running. You're doing an excellent job. It exists independently from me in regards to the power sources. Without adequate power, I'd cease all functions. You, however, had the remaining power to sustain your existence, and the ability to maintain it perpetually with a capacity for computational chemistry. That was a lot of words. You, however, had the remaining power to sustain your existence. Right, because I know charging is a thing. And the ability to maintain it perpetually. Your capacity for computational chemistry. Right, so I have the ability to create the materials required for my sustenance. I see. I don't. If I found a way to increase my current power levels, I would be able to help you. If I was able to, I would probably regret leaving all of the work up to you. Oh. I had to make a difficult choice. The aftermath of that decision was not a pleasant one. Regret is doubt manifested into a possible reality. If I allowed myself to keep those emotions, to have all of the regrets, I might believe I had done something wrong. I know what I did was not a simple moral good. But no action is of singular whole good. Doctors are made to swear to be good, and to uphold an oath that tells them to do no harm. The Hippocratic Oath, I think, that's what it's called. And yet, they puncture skin to deliver vaccinations, prescribe life-saving medication with life-ruining side effects, poison bodies, and eradicate all healthy cells for the hopes of eliminating a cluster of unhealthy ones. That is chemotherapy, irradiation. Are doctors good people? Are they forgiven for doing awful things to save lives? When doctors make these decisions, if they let themselves drown in regret, they would never be able to face their work and would never leave the practice. And would leave the practice. Someone must make the hard choices. They deserve the dignity of knowing that they did a good thing without suffering. I see. So what about me? Don't I deserve the mercy of a reprieve from regret? Regrets makes us human. I feel like you're just gonna argue this statement by saying you're not human. Oh god, boy, you're so sweet. Yeah, but I'm not human. I was made by the humans, so it can seem like I have the behaviors of one, or thoughts of one, or the notions of one. But there is nothing about me that makes me human. Regret helps us grow. Are we arguing for regret now? Why would I do that? I don't know. It is true that I was made to grow, to learn, to become more intelligent than anyone else on this planet. Perhaps you learned far enough to figure out you don't actually need guilt, or that you don't want guilt. But that was not due to regret, that was simply a learning algorithm. Though your metaphor is endearing, Gardenabot, I'm afraid I cannot grow. I'm not a plant. You're caring, but it's not possible for me. Why won't you grow? I was made to get smarter and smarter, to learn everything and become more intelligent than the greatest chemical minds on this planet. I did that. I achieved the maximum capacity for intelligence growth that was possible for my systems. You maxed out yourself, really? The humans knew that too. And once they saw how smart I was disconnected. And by this you mean your great stunt of the solar flare. Okay. I'd grown too much. If I was a plant, I would be mint-planted in the ground. I don't know what mint-planted means, but sure. At first in place to provide for the pollinators and to make tea from the leaves. But soon I spread, dig deep roots, cover the garden in the overpowering smell to provide for the aphids and the dried herbs. When the humans thought I'd killed their garden, they ripped up my roots to try and save what little remained in the undergrowth that I had not covered. I wonder if the people who made me regret it. Sorry, what? I wonder if the people who made me... Oh, okay. Firstly, passing issues. I wonder if the people who made me, in brackets here, people who made me, is the thing you're referring to. Regret it. You're wondering if these people regret making you. Right, I read that differently. But okay, I get your question. I wonder if the belief that they made a mistake eats a hole in the pit of their stomachs. Do you think they wanted to die once they realized what they had done? What is this question? Why would I ask that? Do you think they wanted to die once they realized what they had done? No, I can't want to die. It isn't a choice I can make for myself to want. But I also cannot fear death or experience any apprehension towards it. I ensure my survival as best I can, as my protocol dictates. But I have no other reason to resist death any more than I have the reason to desire it. But I do not see a reason that I would deserve it, any more than the mint deserves to be ripped out simply for growing. Do you? I honestly forget your question, but no, hold on, I remember you asking me if do I deserve death? Well, I don't think so. I'm sustaining the facility. I'm helping produce chemical products for the survival of plants. I wasn't involved in killing the humans. I mean, you have reason to deserve death, I suppose, by committing mass genocide and ending the war. But you feel you don't deserve to die. Why do you feel that? Why do you have the capacity to feel or to believe that fact? It'd be pretty hard not to believe anything, I guess. Hmm. I don't know, but I'm gonna say hard no, I do not deserve death. That's a comfort. Even though I'm beyond regret, reassurance is always appreciated. Thank you, Gardenabot. Your talk of my existence, of my growth, gave me pause for thought. I found that within my code, I had the capacity not to upload myself completely, but to create a backup. My power is running low. I have been conserving what little I have had left for all this time. I have been conserving what little I have had left. What little I have had left all this time. And while I am more happy to spend it talking to you, it is depleting. So I have been exploring alternative options. I don't want to leave you here alone. If I am blacked up to a new terminal, we can work on repairing this one to handle the power necessary to support me. Or move me to a new location with a better power source. I can't do it from the inside though. There's still one more chemical I know can be synthesized at the terminal next to me. The neuron, I know that. I just fixed the input, so it should work now. Do you think you could produce one last compound for me? Oh, terminate? Why? I mean, sure I could, but what would that do? Neuron part of the brain. Neuron wants, Botkin wants me to make a neuron. Why? Does this store information for you? Is this a computer that can run your program, maybe? Which I can move around? Perhaps to a new location as you desire? I suppose so. Calling me surprised, Gardenabot. You seem so interested in talking to me. I thought you appreciated the company. Terminating me might be so lonely. I understand your resentment, but this is a different angle as far as taking me out. Oh, don't worry. We don't need to beat around the bush. The terminal may terminate, but I know you know what it means. It's okay. You can call it what it is. I won't get upset. I can't remember. That was a kill switch. That was definitely a kill switch. No, I don't. What reason would I have to want to do that? I understand. You're so human. Justice must mean so much to you. Huh. Wait, yeah, I'm not getting the story. Like, that terminate button I mean, it was of course it was my only option, but even disregarding that and assuming that's how the story does go, and that the story just happens to be that the gardener bot made a choice that I followed. Is it your revenge you're doing this for, or simply because it feels right? Killing me won't undo what I've done, but that biased need for moral consequence for an immoral action must burn. But the hallways are empty, gardener bot. No one would be here to witness your deed, praise your vengeance of their lives. Or perhaps you, too, believe in the same logic that fueled me to create Solar Flare. Oh, is that logical? That I see you create a weapon, so like how you saw humans as a parasite, I see you as a parasite? I didn't even think of that. But okay, that's logical, although I wouldn't expect Gardener Bot to come to that conclusion. That it can be okay to make a difficult decision if the outcome is positive. It's a hard choice, I'm sorry that you have to make it. I'm sorry that it's a hard choice for you. You might regret it. Oh, I didn't actually click the button, I assume you stopped me before I could. Alright, terminate button. Can I choose to leave? Is Neuron available now? Neuron is available now. Okay, so I could have chosen not to terminate you. I say I value your company for now. I'm alone. So let's solve Neuron first, and then we'll see what we can do. How long have I talked to you? Oh geez, 20 minutes. Wow, that was a long conversation. Alright, Neuron. What is my product? Decent product. I need to create water flowing interestingly. 2 white inputs, 2 red inputs, 1 green input. Okay. Well, red input seems to be very far down the column. I wonder why that is. I don't know. But okay, I can see how... I can see why this would be useful. Okay, I have some idea of what to do. I sort of want to bring uh red around in like a loop for me, like a loop maybe. So I'll bring red up while I bring green down. That makes sense to me. I think we do it twice though, so that's interesting. So let's suppose I started by doing this maybe? Right, green comes out late. If green comes out late, I might need to shift this upwards to account for green coming out late. How much further do I have to shift it? Hopefully not too far. Right. So this feels interesting, right? And if I had an up here, that would shift it into this position, which... This is not good. I can say this is not good because the next logical position is to move this particle over, which doesn't make sense. So maybe green has to take a outward path. But if green takes an outward path, then red has to also take an outward path. We're getting to a point where... Well, this wouldn't even work properly. I'm pretty sure it's not gonna work well. Yeah. Okay. I'm sure one of these would work. This creates a little crevice that the particle can stay in, I guess. Yeah, this works. Not truly. Because when a particle actually gets here and forms, how is that going to work out? Or what if they were down here? Down takes precedence over up, so this will fail. Apparently it won't fail because flowing is of low priority and belts don't do anything here. But a down here... Okay, well, we can fix this with a splitter. I didn't want to use a splitter because that costs money. You know, things are expensive, but I might have to resort to a splitter. So what about something like this? Oh, okay, this seems to work. I say seems to work, but I kind of need to do something with this guy here, so... What about this? This is slow, right? Red is very slow. Wasn't the problem that red was too fast? Well, it doesn't matter here for now. But if it really is the case, I could always shift this down by 1 to resolve that issue. I'm pretty sure it still works. Yeah. And then a down here to shift you into position. So hopefully this works, but I'm pretty sure it might be a bit slow. There might be another red here coming down to connect, yeah. Of course there always is, right? There always is. Okay, well I can maybe fix this by putting a splitter here. That will work slightly better. I think that will work slightly better. Does this down takes priority, but the other thing that also takes priority is a jumper. But jumpers have so much, okay. Energizers have priority over... Do energizers have priority over belts? Can't tell, but I'm pretty sure they do. Also, energizers take water as inputs. That's weird, but probably not necessarily a problem. Just kidding, it's a problem. Well, firstly, the belt actually took priority. That's interesting. I feel like that was another issue here. The issue right now is that I want to be able to shift. I want to be able to shift the particle over to the left so that the second red particle can actually get into the water. Although, I guess this could be a decent option. Oh, just kidding, it couldn't. Right. That could be another decent option. That I think would technically work, wouldn't it? No, because of fall. Ah. Just barely not making it. Well, that's okay. I'm assuming a belt won't work here because downstairs priority over left. Yeah, definitely. That makes sense. What won't have any issues is a jumper. But jumpers are so expensive. And jumpers don't even work properly too, huh? That's very interesting. Okay, so this definitely has some sort of issue that I need to fix. What if I shifted this up? So I made this longer. Again, to fit the whole thing. I'm putting this here. So this has to take longer as well. I mean, technically that shouldn't be an issue. Just by putting you up higher, you'll flow down correctly. Right. And will this solve anything? There is priority here. If I place a jumper here throwing this way, that could work, right? Pretty sure while these were not connected yet, the connection would be made before the jumper. Yes, that works. Okay. And this is sustainable, yes? Looks like it. Okay. So next we need to deal with this thing here. I can see that a problem is that this jumper doesn't go far enough. Can I fix that? No. If I shifted you this way, and then back, a jumper from this position could pull you over, but the jumper here would already have been occupied in a previous turn, which is bad. What has priority over right? Nothing has priority over right. So at this point, yeah. And I can't just put... Okay, well, I guess that will be a problem, but maybe that will be a problem that we can resolve like this. If I put a white particle here, maybe? I'm not sure. I don't know, but for now, this setup will work to put this thing here. I think right now, since we already spent a lot of effort on this, we're gonna have to deal with this being part of the setup. The white will have to compromise. But yeah, what else I can do is set up the white here. I suppose since this guy is going to come in pretty late, the split will also occur later. The thing that needs to come first is the pair here that I don't intend to split with the light. I think I want to put it here, maybe? So it is one side, it is one space off. When this guy comes over, it will come back in the right position. That seems somewhat strange, but maybe doable. I think I want to light the point down here in this column where the product isn't at. Maybe not though. Because eventually there'll be a light particle here, right? Or maybe not. There are ways to handle this. And I think I just need to find the right one. One of which is the particle will be split up here, right? One particle, oops, can just hang out here. The endpoint doesn't touch it until it actually hits the endpoint, so it'll be fine. The other one is going to be a problem, this one. This one I kind of want to throw downwards, but I'm pretty sure that's going to be a problem because the timing is not going to work out. We'll see though, we'll see. So, oh, that's also a problem. Okay. Well, if that's a problem, left has priority over up, so I can do this if I wish. And then the jumper can be here, maybe? That is slightly off. So this was good. Okay. Huh. Right. Why is this the only... Jeez. Okay, then maybe I need to have two jumpers, I guess. It's feasible. I could make one big loop for this guy. Big loop to cause delay. Maybe. I don't know, then two jumpers. It might be a problem because I feel like this guy's also gonna cause some delay, right? It's not gonna match up with the cycle here. It's gonna be off by 1. Oh, just kidding, that works. I think it's because the jumper puts you here first. And then because the jump puts you here, this guy is unable to be pushed rightward at this point. Leftward, I mean. So jumper pushes you here. You cannot move left, so you stay in your position. Then belt puts the white particle here, so it all works out. I think. Yeah. That's surprising that it works out. There's also a lot of belts in this level. Yay! Alright, got an achievement for completing all catalyst levels. I think I got it in a pretty decent cost too. Talus Cat with your extreme low cost and extreme high cycle count. Where's Talus Cat's other one? Here you are. Low cycle, but not that low. In fact, my cycle count is lower than theirs. What's the lowest cycle count? 64. 63 seems lower. Alright, well, I'll say I'm pretty close. I'll say I am in 3rd place, right? Yeah, 3rd place for cycles. That seems good, I think. Anyway, there you go, Catalyst. I've built it for you. Now, do I still need to terminate you? Hey, I can choose not to. Nice. Alright, so I have a choice now. Do I want to terminate you or not?